Hey Catalyst. So I just decided to get it over with and I failed right out of the gate. Go me! So I was going to talk about PAX today because I went to PAX East. I was going to talk about this and this and this and meeting these folks and this. But instead, this happened. And so instead, I'm going to talk today about why I think that problem happened and what I'm doing to keep that from happening in the future. So basically what it boils down to patterns. Patterns are pervasive. They're all around us. We follow patterns every day. Matter of fact, if you think about it, we are patterns. We're an expression of a pattern in our DNA. And so therefore we are patterns. Patterns exist in nature. We follow patterns all the time. Let me give you an example of this. I wake up. I hit snooze. I wake up again. I actually get out of bed. I get my clothes. I go downstairs. I let the dogs out. I brew coffee. I make breakfast. I let the dogs in. I feed the dogs. I drink my coffee. Eat my breakfast. Take my vitamins. Do my business. Shower. Do whatever hair you have. Put on clothes. Let the dogs out again. Let the dogs back in. Brush my teeth. Make my lunch. And go to work. Do this pattern over and over and over again. Every day I do this pattern. One thing after the other, after the other, after the other. Do you ever notice sometimes when you don't follow that pattern, things feel a little off, they feel a little weird? And it's because you're not following your pattern. That's really what it boils down to, is your brain is expecting you to follow that pattern and you're not. And have you ever noticed that when you don't follow your pattern, you miss steps? You forget things. You may even end up wondering stuff like, did I put deodorant on today? This happens when we change our patterns. Our brains are being pushed outside of what they're used to, and so the things that are usually in a particular order aren't happening in that order anymore. It throws us off. So this is what happens when we change our patterns. And I think that this is what happened to me, because I changed my pattern and I wanted to start doing these things in terms of doing all of my challenges. But I didn't think about how I was actually going to go about doing them throughout my day. And so I didn't plan for that, and I didn't have a pattern for it. And when I didn't have a pattern for it, my brain froze and I completely forgot to do my coding up until it was way too late. And so I missed out on doing my coding yesterday. So now I actually have a pattern that I'm going to be following. Either I'm going to be doing my coding over my lunch, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to come home, I'm going to eat my dinner, and I need to wait a little bit before I can do my insanity exercise. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm actually going to do my coding in between then, and then I'm going to do my insanity, and then I'll do my vlog. So that's going to be my pattern. Now that I know how that's going to flow, I have a much better idea of when things should be happening. And I can also be planful for the fact that if I don't do the coding over lunch, then I know that I'm going to have to do that in between having dinner and doing my working out. I'm setting expectations for my brain. One other thing to think about when it comes to patterns and to be aware of is what's called inattentional blindness. Inattentional blindness happens when we follow patterns a little bit too closely and our brains kind of shut down. And so we get so used to the pattern, we expect things to be exactly as they're going to be in that pattern. And the next thing you know, you inject something into there that doesn't really belong there and you don't even see it. It's why so many car accidents are within 10 blocks of the person's home. They expect things to be a certain way, they expect traffic patterns to be a certain way, and then one day, boom, something's not in the right place at the right time, and the accident happens. Testers are highly aware of this in terms of, like my job, I'm a software tester. If we're following our test plans too closely, and we do those test plans over and over and over again, we can actually have inattentional blindness to bugs that are actually happening in the system. That's definitely not a good thing, because if that gets out into the environment once we've put it out there for our customers to use, then they end up seeing the problems rather than us finding them and fixing them ahead of time. So it's something that we have to be really closely aware of. So I think I have the problem solved. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem, but that means I'm going to have to go back and figure out a way to get that star as far as finding 15 things that I want to purge out. No problem. It's something I wanted to do anyway. So I'll end up giving myself a silver star for that, just so that way I keep track of the fact that I know that it's one that I got because I did the purge as opposed to actually doing the task itself. So have you ever had something funny happen due to inattentional blindness? Have you ever noticed that you forgot something due to the fact that you got out of your pattern? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.